30 unwritten rules of Brawl Stars. Rule number 1 is you do not put vision gear on any short range brawler. You also are not supposed to purchase it, but sometimes I want my brawlers to feel complete, so then I buy it anyways. It's an unwritten rule that you don't even buy it, but if you do, you don't use it. I've never used it and I never will. Rule number 2, if you do not create content or you are not a ladder warrior, then you do not buy these early access bundles for brawlers. Not only are they expensive, but you don't even get to play the brawler in ranked until they're fully released. So those are the only 2 reasons why you should ever do this. Unless you just want to have fun, then go for it, I guess. Rule number 3 is if you have Ruff's hypercharge unlocked, then if you use it, you wait until your hypercharge duration ends, and then you go and pick up your own power-up because you get the hypercharge back. So you can infinitely cycle this if you die, but if a teammate picks it up, then you are closing your game. Rule number 4 is you do not aim with Amber. This brawler works with auto-aim at pretty much every range, so if you're ever aiming with this brawler, you're playing the game incorrectly. Rule number 5 is if your rank is anywhere below legendary for the last 2 seasons, then you do not use the ranked badge, you use the fame badge instead. I am one of those people now. I kind of forgot this was a thing until just now. Rule number 6 is you only kudos somebody if they are the worst player in the lobby. So even if that's on the enemy team, whether the team won or they lost, you always have to kudo the person with the worst looking stats or the person who threw the hardest. This is the most concrete rule of the entire list, guys. You need to follow this one. There is no room for positivity inside of my Brawl Star. Rule number 7 is you do not take a coin shower gadget on Griff no matter the circumstance. This thing is not going to be equipped unless maybe it's the only thing you have, but even then, you don't even have to use it. What does it do? It adds 1 more projectile. Wow, that's crazy. This might be the most underwhelming gadget in the entire game now. You do not use this. Rule number 8 is nowadays, you do not take trophy pushing seriously unless you are at 1,000 trophies or higher, because that is the only point where you reach the highest matchmaking pool. So if anybody celebrates a trophy milestone below that, you have to shame them. I'm joking, but people actually do this. Rule number 9, if you don't know which brawler to play today and you get absolutely demolished by a different brawler, you might think, wow, that brawler's insane. He's just better than my brawler. Then you go ahead and switch to that brawler, and that is now the brawler for you to play today. Rule number 10 is very, very simple, so listen up. You do not play Doug. You do not unlock Doug. If you do unlock Doug, you do not upgrade him. And if you do upgrade him, you do not buy a gadget. And if you do buy a gadget, you do not buy a star power. And if you do buy a star power, you do not buy any gears on Doug. And if you fail all of these options, then you uninstall the game. Rule number 11, you do not question why or how Bo managed to turn the head of an eagle into a normal, modern looking hat. And if you are just now realizing that this is what he is wearing, I just ruined Bo for you, you're welcome. Rule number 12 is you post hateful things about purple skins online, but once they show up in game, you think, oh, they don't look that bad, and then you end up buying it. This rule applies to every person on the planet. If you have not purchased a purple skin, it is now time to do so. Rule number 13 is there's always that one confusing brawler for every player who they just refuse to play. They might do it if they have to, but they never really want to, and they don't think they'll ever understand the brawler. That brawler for me is probably Sam, but for other players that could be anybody like Stu, for example, maybe Melody, other brawlers who are really technical. Every player has that one brawler, so leave yours in the comment section. Rule number 14, if you are playing anything besides Heist, you do not pick Chuck. And if you do pick Chuck on anything besides Heist, you either lose or you win against bots. There is no in between. Rule number 15 is on the topic of bots. If you ever get thrown into a bot match, you have never wanted to close the game more. Bot matches are Supercell's way of manipulating you to continue playing the game. They were implemented to prevent you from going on a losing streak. So in other words, they are spitting on your face, throwing your phone to the floor, and telling you to get good. Rule number 16, if you do not like the current ranked skin for this season, then you do not play ranked. If you do like the skin, then you play ranked until you either get it or you go home crying. Rule number 17, if you manage to push all the way to Masters in the last season, but you don't feel like playing this season, then you feel an incredible amount of guilt for missing out on your next season ranked boost. And that guilt really comes back the next time you feel like playing ranked. Rule number 18, you occasionally go through the list of every brawler and check what skins you have, because you never really know if you randomly unlocked a skin that you want to equip. I do this one pretty often because they keep releasing really good skins, and sometimes I forget to click randomize. Which brings me to rule number 19. If you have multiple good skins on a brawler, like Buzz who has 1,000,000, then you turn on randomize, so then you're not wasting your money. This goes for any brawler who might have more than one skin that you like. If you're not doing this, then this is your reminder. Don't waste your money. Put randomize on. If you got them free to play, then don't listen to this. Rule number 20 has 2 parts. Part 1 is you might not even know where the looking for a team feature is anymore. And part 2, if you manage to find it, which is called search for a player now, you never click this button. And if you do, on accident, then you exit out. Rule number 21, the higher your win streak gets, the more stressed out you become. Nowadays, this will be for individual brawlers, but my point still stands. The win streak might become so high that you get so stressed out that at certain points, you feel like you don't even want to play because you don't want to risk losing it because the stress is too much. Rule number 22, just about everybody has that one skin that they didn't manage to get or they completely forgot about until it was too late. I have 2 of those. One of them is Ninja Ash, but more importantly, the other one is Director Buzz. This one still haunts me to this day. And yes, I have the recolor now, but it's not the same. Rule number 23, if you don't change your profile often, you feel a weird amount of guilt for changing it away from the things that everybody knows you by. I kept my profile picture as Crow for like 5 years, and changing it to Kit after that long felt weird. But then I got over it and I changed it to this one, and it's been this ever since. Rule number 24 is if you did not reach Masters before Power League became ranked, then you avoid clicking this button by any means necessary. I am putting myself in a very vulnerable state by showing this to you right now, so you are welcome. I'm doing this for the content. I'm risking my life for you right now. Rule number 25 is very simple. You use code nubs in the Brawl Stars shop. This is a very universal thing. Everybody in the world does this. And if you do put code nubs in the shop, you also subscribe to nubs right now by scrolling down and clicking the subscribe button. Okay, but rule 25 is you use a creator code. It doesn't have to be mine, but you know, I mean, it could be. Rule number 26 is at a certain point in every season, more often closer to the end, you completely forget that it exists. And then you start building up bonus star drops that you also forget about. Then you wake up the next season with random auto-collected rewards. Rule number 27, you do not care about fame. There is one person who can, and that is the person who has the most, but if you are not that person, then you do not care. Igor has arrived, and that means you must worship Igor. Rule number 28, every so often you remember that this button here on the left exists, and you click on it to see if anything has changed, realize, oh, nothing has changed, and then you turn back. If you didn't know, this is for the Angels versus Demons event, but it would be cool if something else happened in this screen before that. I don't know if anything will, though. This guy is all over me right now. He should be the YouTuber instead. Rule number 29, especially now that the matchmaking is different. If you lose really hard and you think it's because of a specific teammate, then you go to the battle log and you check to see what their total trophies are, because nowadays it could be literally anything. It could be anywhere from 0 to 1,000,000. The numbers used to be consistent, but now it is pretty much random. So you could technically have a brand new player on your team, or you could have somebody who's pretty high. Rule number 30 is you are going to, and you do forget about your mastery road for whatever brawler. So you occasionally scroll on by, see if any of them are flashing, like this Buzz one right here, or the Melody one right there, and you check to see what reward you got. Oh wow, credits. And a bonus rule, if you're at the point where you have every brawler, then you save onto them for the next brawler. It is the one way to get a credit bank in this game. But yeah, those are 30 unwritten rules for Brawl Star. I have been your host, Nubs, and my co-host, Igor. He was late to the show, but he still made it. Next video might be 40 unwritten rules, so let me know some rules in the comment section, and I will see you guys later.